Every single night, your brain makes a deliberate, remarkable choice. It sends a precise chemical signal down your spinal cord, a signal that induces a profound, temporary paralysis. You are locked in. Your arms, your legs, your entire voluntary muscle system is rendered completely still. It is an elegant and essential prison, and your brain does this to protect you from yourself. Because in this state, your mind is running a vivid, chaotic, and fully immersive simulation. Your brain in this moment is as active and energy-consuming as it is when you are wide awake and solving a complex problem. This state is called paradoxical sleep. We know it as REM, or rapid eye movement. This is the theater. This is where the dream lives. And for the last 70 years, we have been consumed by one question. Why? Why would the human brain, this impossibly sophisticated machine, evolve a system that requires it to paralyze the body, just so it can tell itself stories? This is not a gentle, drifting state. This is an active, fiery, and deeply bizarre state of consciousness. The rapid eye movement name is literal. Behind your closed eyelids, your eyes are darting back and forth. They are tracking the events of a world that does not exist. They are following the action of the play your mind is creating. All of this happens while your body remains perfectly and necessarily still. We call this stillness atonia. It is the off switch for the body, flipped by the brainstem. It is the only thing that separates the world of the dream from the world of the real. It is the wall that keeps the chaos contained. Because the dream is chaos. It is not logical. It does not obey the laws of physics, or time, or narrative. In a dream, you can be in your childhood home one moment and on the surface of the moon the next. You can be speaking to a person who has been gone for decades. You can feel a profound, overwhelming sense of joy or a bottomless, existential terror, all in the span of a few seconds. The emotional centers of your brain, the amygdala and the hippocampus, are highly active during REM sleep. This is why dreams feel so real, so salient. The logic centers of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, are conveniently, and perhaps mercifully, dampened. This is why you do not question the impossible. You simply accept that you can fly. You accept that your teeth are falling out. You accept that you are in a high-stakes exam for a class you have not attended in 20 years. The dream is a world without logic, but with all of the emotional consequences. For thousands of years, we did not know what to make of this nightly visitation. Ancient civilizations saw dreams as messages from the gods, or prophecies from the future. They were dispatches from another, more sacred world. In the 19th and 20th centuries, we began to look inward. We saw dreams not as messages from the outside, but as messages from a hidden, undiscovered part of ourselves. They were letters from the subconscious, written in a strange, symbolic code. We see dreams as a biological function, a form of nightly data processing, a threat rehearsal simulator, a way for the brain to file, sort, and feel its way through the events of the day. The truth, most likely, is a beautiful and complex combination of all three. Dreams are symbolic, they are functional, and they do feel divine. Before we can explore the why, we must honor the what. We must appreciate the sheer strangeness of the dream itself. The experience is universal, but the content is deeply, radically personal. The dream is a collage. It is a scrapbook of your life, cut up and reassembled at random. It pulls from the memories of the day, a phenomenon known as day residue. A face you passed on the street, a line from a song you heard, a background detail in a movie you watched. These insignificant fragments are given starring roles in your nightly play, but it also pulls from your deepest, oldest archives, the emotions of your childhood, the fears you have held since you were 5, the unresolved conflicts and the unspoken desires that define who you are. The dream takes all of this, the new data and the old code, and it blends them together. It is your brain's attempt to find patterns, to connect the then with the now. It is not a story being told to you. It is a story your brain is telling itself. It is a process. Think of it as the mind's own private, experimental filmmaker. It is abstract. It is surrealist. It is often frightening. But it is always, in some way, about you. This is why the paralysis is so important. This is why the body must be chained. Because the mind, in this state, is not gentle. It is exploring the raw, uncensored, and often terrifying landscape of your own psyche. And it is in this paradoxical theater, this active, emotional, and paralyzed state, that the great work of the mind is done. So, we are left with this incredible, elegant, and frankly bizarre system. A mind on fire, a body of stone, and a vivid, illogical world that lives in the space between. This begs the central question of our entire exploration. What is all of this for? Why has evolution, this brutal engine of efficiency, preserved a state of consciousness that is so chaotic, so strange, and so metabolically expensive? What is the purpose of the dream? This question of why has produced some of the most profound, controversial, and fascinating ideas in the history of human thought. For centuries, the dream was seen as a divine message, a prophecy from the gods. But in the 20th century, we began to look not to the heavens, but to the hidden, undiscovered continents within our own minds. The first great, modern explorer of this inner world was Sigmund Freud. He proposed a radical and electrifying idea. The dream, he claimed, was not random noise. It was a form of wish fulfillment. Freud believed that our dreams are a secret, symbolic language. They are a way for the most primitive, forbidden, and repressed parts of our mind, the id, to get what they want. But these desires, often aggressive or sexual, are so alarming to our conscious mind that they must be disguised. This, he argued, is why dreams are so bizarre. They are heavily censored. Freud made a famous distinction between the manifest content, the strange, illogical story you remember, and the latent content, the true, hidden, and forbidden wish. To Freud, a dream was a coded letter, and the psychoanalyst was the cryptographer. A dream of flying might not be about flying at all. It might be a symbol for spiritual freedom or for a forbidden act. His most famous student, Carl Jung, agreed that dreams were a symbolic language, but he disagreed profoundly on their ultimate purpose. Jung did not see dreams as a garbage bin for our most primitive, repressed desires. Instead, he saw them as a profound tool for healing and for wholeness. Jung believed dreams were a form of compensation. They were the mind's way of showing you the parts of yourself you have neglected, in an honest effort to bring you back into balance. He called this process individuation, a lifelong journey toward becoming a complete, integrated self. Where Freud saw a hidden wish, Jung saw a guiding wisdom. Jung also proposed the vast, mysterious, and beautiful idea of the collective unconscious. He believed that our dreams do not just pull from the archives of our own personal lives. They also pull from a shared, ancient reservoir of human memory, one filled with universal symbols he called archetypes. This, he argued, is why so many cultures, across all of human history, dream of similar things. The wise old man, the shadow self, the great mother, the flood. These are not just personal symbols, but echoes of a single, shared human story. For decades, these psychoanalytic ideas dominated our understanding of dreams. They were poetic, profound, and deeply compelling. But they were, by their nature, almost impossible to prove or disprove in a laboratory. Then, with the discovery of REM sleep in the 1950s, a new and more mechanical set of theories emerged. Neuroscience allowed us to look not just at the story of the dream, but at the machine that was building it. This new perspective gave us a functional, biological answer. One of the most supported modern theories is that dreams are a critical part of memory consolidation. While you are in REM sleep, your brain is, in a very real sense, studying for the test of your life. It is sifting through the countless experiences and pieces of data from your day. It strengthens the neural connections of things you need to remember, like the solution to a problem or a new skill. And it actively prunes and weakens the connections of things you can afford to forget. The bizarre narrative dream in this model may just be the background noise of this filing process. It is the conscious mind's attempt to weave a story out of the random scraps of memory being sorted. Another powerful neuroscientific idea is the threat rehearsal theory. This theory suggests that dreams are an ancient, evolved simulator. Their primary purpose is to put you through a realistic, high-stakes training program for danger. This is why so many dreams are anxious. You are being chased, you are falling, you are unprepared for an exam. Your brain, in this model, is forcing you to practice your fight or flight responses, so that if a similar danger ever happens in the real world, you are milliseconds faster. Perhaps the most therapeutically powerful theory is that of emotional processing. This idea suggests we must sleep to remember, but we must also sleep to forget. During REM sleep, your brain reactivates powerful, often negative emotional memories. But it does so in a brain state that is free from the specific neurochemicals of stress and anxiety. The brain, in this model, is replaying the memory, but stripping it of its painful emotional charge. It is filing the lesson of the experience, but carefully disconnecting it from the pain. This is how, over time, our traumas can become mere memories rather than active, agonizing wounds. So, what is the dream? Is it a repressed wish from our primitive past? Is it a guiding symbol from our collective unconscious? Or is it a nightly, biological process of filing, training, and healing? The truth is, it is likely all of them. The dream is a multi-layered, profound, and still deeply mysterious event. It is the work of the psychoanalyst, and it is the work of the neuroscientist. But this leads us to the mechanics. We have the where, the paradoxical theater of REM. We have the why, the theories of function. But how does the brain, this physical machine of tissue and electricity, actually build these worlds? What is happening, moment to moment, that creates the feeling of flight, or the image of a face from 30 years in our past? In a dream, you do not question the impossible. You accept that you can fly. You accept that your long-lost pet can speak. You accept that you are in your childhood home, but it is also a spaceship, and this somehow makes perfect, logical sense. Why? Why does the mind, this brilliant machine of reason, so readily accept the absurd? It is because the part of your brain responsible for reason has been temporarily taken offline. This is, perhaps, the mechanical key to the entire mystery. During REM sleep, our most sophisticated and adult brain center shows a dramatic reduction in activity. This is the prefrontal cortex, the seat of our logic, our critical thinking, and our self-awareness. It is, quite literally, asleep on the job. But while the logic is offline, the emotion is on fire. The limbic system, your deep, primal emotional core, is one of the most active parts of the brain during REM. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, is firing wildly. Your hippocampus, the librarian of your memory, is pulling books from the shelves. This is why dreams are not cold, logical exercises. They are emotionally saturated. They are drenched in fear, joy, anxiety, and wonder. They are built from the raw, uncensored fragments of your past. So we have this state, an emotional, memory-rich, and logically uninhibited brain. But what kicks this all into motion? What is the spark that starts this incredible engine? For decades, the leading theory has been a bottom-up process. It begins in the most primitive part of the brain, the brainstem. The brainstem, in this model, fires off powerful, periodic bursts of electrical signals up into the higher cortex. These signals are the activation. They hit the visual center, the memory center, the emotional center. They are, in a sense, raw, chaotic data. The brain, this magnificent, pattern-seeking machine, is then faced with this storm of signals. And it does the only thing it knows how to do. It synthesizes them into a story. The dream, in this view, is the narrative your mind invents to make sense of its own internal neurological static. It is a story built from chaos. The logic is invented after the fact to explain the random feelings and images. This entire elaborate theater is not running constantly. It is part of a much larger and meticulously organized nightly structure. Your brain does not just plunge you into this chaotic state. It earns it. You first must descend into the quiet, restorative world of non-REM sleep. This is where the body is repaired and the brain is quieted. This is the deep sleep that restores your physical self. This whole cycle, from the lightest sleep down into the deepest, and then back up into the REM theater, takes about 90 minutes. And you repeat this cycle all night long. But the cycles are not identical. As the night progresses, your brain changes its priorities. In the first half of the night, you spend most of your time in that deep, physical REM restoration. In the second half, the brain shifts. The deep sleep periods get shorter. The REM periods get longer and longer and longer. Your final dream, just before waking, can be nearly an hour long. This is why your most vivid, complex, and emotionally powerful dreams always seem to happen in the morning. You are emerging from the longest and most intense performance of the night. So, we have this system, a masterpiece of biological time management, a perfect oscillating rhythm between physical repair and mental exploration. For most of your life, this complex, delicate machine runs perfectly. The logic center switches off. The emotional center switches on. The body is paralyzed. The dream runs its course. But what happens when it does not? What happens when the machine glitches? What happens when the wires get crossed? When the wall between the dream and reality, this perfect, elegant separation, begins to break down? This, for many, is the most terrifying and uncanny part of the entire human experience. When the walls of this intricate system fail, when the dream escapes. We often use the word nightmare to describe a bad dream, and it is a fitting one. It is simply a dream born in REM that is saturated with fear. The system is working perfectly. The story is just frightening, and your body, thankfully, remains paralyzed. But there is another, stranger event. The night terror. This is not a dream. It is a glitch of deep NREM, slow-wave sleep. The mind is completely unconscious, but the body, suddenly and violently, wakes up. A person in a night terror may sit bolt upright, scream, and appear to be in a state of absolute, primal panic. But they are not awake, and they are not dreaming. They are trapped in a strange, pre-conscious state, and in the morning they will have no memory of it. The same is true for sleepwalking. This is another glitch of deep NREM. The conscious mind is completely asleep, but the motor cortex, the part of the brain that moves the body, has woken up by mistake. The body is free to get up, to walk, to perform complex actions, all while the self, the conscious, aware you, is nowhere to be found. But the most profound and most frightening glitch occurs when the wall between REM sleep and waking reality breaks down. This is the phenomenon of sleep paralysis. This is the exact inverse of sleepwalking. With sleepwalking, the body is awake and the mind is asleep. With sleep paralysis, the mind is awake, but the body is still locked in that REM paralysis. You are conscious. You can see your room. You are aware. But you cannot move a muscle. You cannot speak. You cannot scream. And because your brain is still, in a sense, dreaming, the chaotic, illogical imagery of the REM state leaks into the real world. You are awake, and you are dreaming. You see, with your own eyes, a figure in the corner of your room. You feel a heavy presence on your chest. This is the waking nightmare, a universal human experience that has given birth to legends of demons, ghosts, and alien abductors for centuries. It is, quite simply, a machine error, a timing glitch. The mind woke up before the body got the signal. But not all glitches are terrifying. There is one more, a glitch that has fascinated humanity for just as long. An error in the system that, for some, becomes a profound and powerful tool. This is the lucid dream. In a normal dream, as we know, the logical prefrontal cortex is offline. You accept the absurd. But in a lucid dream, something remarkable happens. The prefrontal cortex wakes up while the dream is still running. Your self-awareness, your logic, your you flickers on. You are in the dream, but you know you are in the dream. You are suddenly aware that the world around you is a fabrication. And with that awareness, often comes the next incredible step: control. You can, in a lucid dream, become the director of your own private, fully immersive film. You can choose to fly. You can choose to face your fears. You can choose to explore the very boundaries of your own consciousness. This is the inverse of sleep paralysis. It is not the dream leaking into reality. It is reality, the conscious, logical self, leaking into the dream. So, this is the world of sleep. It is not a void. It is not a simple off switch. It is a nightly journey into a parallel universe. It is a masterpiece of biology, a system designed to repair our bodies, to process our emotions, to file our memories, and to run its chaotic nightly simulations, all while keeping us perfectly, beautifully safe. It is a world of paradox, of deep restoration, and of profound mystery. We have learned more about it in the last 70 years than in the last 70,000. And yet, we are still just standing at the shore, looking out at a vast and largely uncharted ocean. We have reached the end of our deep dive. If you found this exploration of the mind's nightly theater to be fascinating, a like on this video is always appreciated. It lets me know that these are topics worth exploring. And I am genuinely curious. This is a vast subject, and we have only scratched the surface. What other corners of psychology, what other mysteries of the human mind would you like to investigate together? Let me know your ideas in the comments below.